Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud Institution. We are the best training providers in Bangalore. So today in this video, we're going to see one of the interesting topic, which is configuring Azure provider in Terraform. Okay, so in the recent videos, we have seen how to configure the AWS providers, but today in this video, we are going to see how to configure Azure providers in Terraform, and we are going to see that so how to do a Terraform init and to check whether the Azure provider is installed or not. Okay, so if you wanted to start with the demo, we have to go to our browser. As you can search, it's Azure providers. Okay, so this is the Azure provider which we are going to use it to initialize in Terraform in order to get that Azure features. Okay, so what is providers first of all? So we have already seen in the previous videos. So Terraform providers will provide you the feature of whatever the different cloud providers is having. For example, if you are using AWS, you need to give the AWS providers, right? So if you want to see the providers, as you can search here, click here, and you can go here, and you can see the different list of providers will be there, right? So we have AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Kubernetes, and various providers are there. So most common and most famous providers are AWS, Azure, and GCP. Okay, so today we are going to initialize the Azure providers in order to get the Azure features. So in the upcoming videos, we are going to provision Azure resources using Terraform. Okay, so if you wanted to go to the providers, as you can click on here, okay, it will take you to here, right? So this is the provider. So if you want to go to the resource wherein how to configure this provider, you can search here. Okay, so this is what something which you are going to do to make this work. Okay, so let's go to our Visual Studio Code. I'm going to create a simple file that's called provider.tf. Okay, so you may wondering, do I need to create a provider.tf the exact the same way? So that is not matters, right? So you can create your file name with anything, but it has to be .tf format. Okay, so then only our Terraform will be understanding, like so what is this file is all about. Okay, this is what Terraform, right? So now I've created a file called providers.tf. Then I'm going to give a Terraform. Okay, so under Terraform I'm going to give required providers. Okay, so here this required providers. Okay, so here we have to choose like which providers we are going to use. Okay, so we are going to choose a provider called Azure RM. Okay, so Azure RM is the provider. So we need some the two different parameters we need it. So in order to make it work, right? So the first parameter is that source. Okay, so uh, okay, so the source equal to. So what do you mean by source? Okay, so source is most commonly so from where I need to get these providers. Okay, so most of the times we will be getting from the Terraform HashiCorp registry. Okay, so we have to be doing exactly the same way, whatever it has been here, right? So I'm going copying and saying that. So why it can't be something different for Azure RM? So well, if you have your own providers, right? So there are many of the companies, they write their own providers for the security reasons, and they have it in their Git repository or somewhere else, right? So if you have your own provider resources, you can just give this resource. But for now, what are we going to do is that we are going to use our own HashiCorp Azure RM provider. Okay, and then next, if you can see the version. Okay, so if you can see the version, which version of the Terraform Azure provider version we need to be downloading. For example, how do you find that which version is latest? If you want to find it out, you have to go to browser again. You can go to the top, so there is a version constraints will be there. Okay, so as you can see here, so here they have given a version called 3.0.0 is the common version which they have given, right? So now we can just choose any of the versions from here. Okay, if you can see all the versions, we have the latest one and the greatest, and so subsequently we have all the other versions which is already been available. Okay, so each and whenever there is a new the new feature has been released, they are released with a new version. Okay, so this is what called as a provider version. Okay, so the Terraform version is different. I think we have already discussed about Terraform version before. Now this is the provider version. Okay, so now I'm going to do with the latest version. Okay, so 4.6.0. So when I'm recording this video, so the version is going to be 4.6.0. Okay, so I'm going to use that particular version here. So the version is going to be 4.6.0. Okay, so that is all we need to initialize our Terraform providers for the Azure RM. Okay, so now what I have to do is that, I'm inside this folder. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to do Terraform, init. I have to do Terraform init. So now as you can see here, so there is no other files, so there is no other files other than provider.tf, right? So now what's going to be happening is that it is going to download this .terraform folder and then terraform log.html file. Okay, so if you can expand it, if you can expand it, as you can see here, there is a Terraform provider, so this file is being downloaded. Okay, so this is what something like, it has been downloading all the features of the Terraform, so using this particular Terraform providers, so your Terraform code will understand that, so which version of the Terraform source we are going to use. Okay, if you wanted to see this one here, you can do ls. So if you can see this one, so it is there in the hidden files, right? Because it is in .terraform. Okay, I'm going to do .terraform and I'm just keep on going inside. Okay, so under all the way Azure RM, as you can see, there is a 4.6.0 version is there. Okay, so this is what we have downloaded. If you can go back inside this one, and also, so AMD version, as you can see here, there is the zip file. Okay, so this is the zip file which has been downloaded from the internet. Okay, so from now on, whenever you're writing kind of a Terraform resources, okay, so Terraform resources related to Azure RM, then it's going to be working based on this particular versions, right? So hope you understand this one. So this is how you're going to registering, so you're going to initializing the Terraform providers for Azure RM. So as you can see here in the log file, so in the log file we'll be registering which version of the Azure RM Terraform version is being downloaded and it's been the current configuration. So you may ask me some of the another question. What happened if I can go and change the provider version here? How to change this one? Okay, so now as you can see here, I'm going to see that 4.6.0 is what the version which I've downloaded. Now I'm going to change it to 4.5.0. Okay, let's see what's going to be happening now. 4.5.0. Okay, so if I do Terraform init again, okay, I'm coming all the way back. Okay, so if I do Terraform init again, okay, what's going to be happening now? Terraform init. Okay, so it's not telling that, it's telling that, the version which we cannot change. Okay, so now what I have to do with the Terraform upgrade. Okay, Terraform. Okay, so you may have some kind of a question, so we're going to downgrade, right? We're going to, so the latest version is 6.0 is what the latest version, but we are downgrading to 4.5.0. But even then, we have to use the command called upgrade. Okay, that's not downgrade. There is no downgrade command is available in Terraform. So all we have to use is the Terraform upgrade. Okay, so now as you can see here, I have one version which is 4.6.0. Now I'm going to initialize one more version. Okay, so now it is downloading the 4.5.0 version. Okay, so if you can ask me, is it going to delete that older version which is already been downloaded? Okay, so it is initialized, right? If you can ask me the question, like, is it going to be deleting the previous configuration? No, because it is just down, it is keeping both. Okay, so 4.6.0 and 4.5.0 as well. Okay, but how do you know that, which version is currently pointing to? Whenever you're just creating resources, which particular version the Terraform is being pointing to. So if you want to see, so which version is currently using, so that is when you have to go and see the Terraform log file. Okay, so previously, as you can see, the file version is going to was 4.6.0. Okay, so now it has been changed to 4.5.0. Okay, so it represents whenever we are changing the configurations of the provider over here, the versions, and then if you do Terraform init, that particular configuration will be changed, right? So every time the Terraform will look into terraform.html file. So I highly recommend not to change anything manually over here, right? So this are ashes, everything will be downloaded. So now Now this particular configuration, if you create any resources, it'll be using a 4.5.0 provider versions. Okay, so that's all from this video. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this video, right? So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you wanted to see more video like this, please follow us. Okay, and I'm going to see you in the next video.